Good morning, beloved. As we begin the book of Job, it's a lot of good insights we can pull out, and it should be a pretty humbling book for all of us. Just a good little self-checkup on our hearts and our own attitudes and our acceptance of God's will in our life as well. And so we'll just look from the beginning and pull out a couple of things we see. Just interesting what some of the things the author is teaching us. First, we see that God calls together all the angels, and they present themselves before the Lord. And then Satan also shows up, Good reminder for us that, Satan is an angel, right? He was created as an angel, pure and holy. They say the highest, most beautiful, and most powerful one. But also we remember he's a fallen angel, so he's fallen from grace. He's living in mortal sin, in other words, using our terminology. He has fallen from grace, so we call him not so much an angel, but now a demon, right? But he still has access to God. He still has conversation with God. And notice when he shows up, God looks at him and says, "Whence do you come?" Or in other words, where have you been? He's supposed to, right? Just kind of reminding him, hey, you're supposed to be my servant with me in my company, serving me and doing my will and ministering as the messages and what I ask you to do. Where have you been this whole time? God knows where he's been, right? It should be reminiscent for us of the same question that God asked Adam and Eve when they fell from grace, right? And they fell from grace, and it says, then God walked through the garden and they hid, and God said, "Adam, where are you?" Right? Well, God knows where they are, right? We can't hide from God. Every time God asks a question, it's really supposed to be for us to figure out. Do we know where we are? Do we know where we've been? Whence do you come from? What have you been doing? Because it hasn't been my will. In other words, that's what he's asking Satan. Satan says, from roaming the earth and patrolling it. And roaming the earth and patrolling it, right? Like a army, like on guard. Roaming the earth and patrolling it. The apostles teach us that Satan roams around seeking the ruin of souls. So he's roaming, he's patrolling, he's watching, he's looking for an opportunity to get into our life, to destroy us, to destroy our souls, to tempt us, to draw us to fall from grace as well, like him. So we always have to be on guard. That's usually when we slip and fall, is when we get off guard, right? When we stop patrolling our own hearts or our own lives. And then, this little conversation is kind of a funny one, right? God, in a sense, entices Satan, or just talks a little trash to him. And, "Oh, you've been roaming around, patrolling. Have you seen my servant Job? So good, so righteous." And he's a father proud of his son, He's proud of his son. And what do? When you're a parent proud of your children, you talk about them all the time. "Oh, have you seen my child did this and my child did that?" Well, Satan, of course, jealous because he's not living in righteousness anymore, not living in that state of grace. He says, he tries to entice God as if he could really do that, right? So, well, that's because you give him everything, you spoil your child. You've given him all these things, and more than that, you protect all of his things. So no harm comes to him or his things. And God says, well, go ahead. Take those things from him. I think he can handle it. I think he loves me more than those things. See, anytime God takes something from our life, that's the question that we're answering with our response. Do I love God more than these things? Do I love God more than these people in my life? Do I love God? We'll just see, it keeps increasing as we go through the story. Do I love God more than my bodily health? Do I love God more than my life? That's the question that God is exercising in us, exercising our love. Not because God needs to know it, but so that we know. And we reckon the only way to do this is by doing it, by immersion style. Easy to say, "Oh yeah, God, I love God more than everything. I'll give him everything my whole life. I could, walk away from everything today." It's just like the alcoholic, right? "Oh, I can stop drinking anytime I want to. I just don't want to." easy to say we can give up everything for God, but then to actually have to do it. And the only way to realize that, all the spiritual writers say, the only way to really realize that is for God to, he has to take it away from us. And then oh my gosh, okay. So, God gives permission to Satan to take his family and all of his things away from him, right? His children, all this livestock, all the houses, all the things that he has. He removes his protection. So this is good to know too. Satan can do only what God allows him to do. There's these limits. So if something's happening to us, God is allowing it. Because God thinks we can handle it. Wants us to realize that, yes, wants us to exercise our love. Yes, I do love you, Lord, more than this, more than that, more than these things, more than these people in my life, more than my reputation, more than my job, more than my money, more than my own health. I will choose to love you. So he takes all these, so Satan goes and attacks, takes all these things away. Interesting that, they all get taken away by natural disasters, right? Could there be a connection between demonic action and natural disasters? And it's allowed by God? But God is allowing it for our good, to wake us up, to bring us to a deeper level of love, to help us recognize and be in tune with God and recognize that he is our first love and doing his will is the first priority of our life. And this time, at least, Job has a good response, But Matt, think of the different times in your life when everything's just got piled up and you got hit from every direction. That's what's happening to Job, The rug gets pulled out from underneath you, and your whole world is rocked and shaken. Job, he tears his cloak in mourning. He cuts his hair off in mourning and prostrates himself on the ground. His first response is he goes into prayer. And then he says, "Naked I came forth from my mother's womb, and naked I shall go back again." The Lord gave all these things, and now he has taken them away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I love God more than all these things. I will still serve him. I will be faithful to him. I will stay in grace with him. In all this, Job did not sin, nor did he say anything disrespectful of God, his Father. Well, here we go. Just good reminders for us to practice this week. Only God knows what's going to come. But we can train ourselves to be like Job with that humble response. And sometimes we train ourselves by just repeating it all throughout the day, so that it becomes this thought that's always on our mind. And then pretty soon that thought becomes habitual. And then when something does happen, we'll say that thought. You took this away, or you gave me this responsibility, or you gave me this pain in the butt person in my life today. The Lord has given, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So this will be our practice this week, as we're training in righteousness, training in discipleship, trying to imitate Job and his response and say, "Yes, Lord, I love you more than this. I love you more than those things. I will keep serving you. I choose to keep serving you. So the direction of my will is always going towards you."